Hello, this is Soundout here, back with my first new review of 2013. Yes, I know the Soundwave cassettes were uploaded before this, but this is in 2013, but this is the first filmed one in 2013. Today we're looking at the first figure in the DC Universe Signature Collection's second year, that being Club Infinite Earth's second run. The first figure of 2013, Saint Walker. Now, you're asking yourself, hey Soundout, whatever happened to all those other figures you said you were going to do? Well, I got behind to the point where August through December-ish figures never got reviewed or even filmed. So I said, alright, I'm going to cut my losses and just keep up with 2013. Hopefully I do it this time. And don't worry, I will review the rest of them later, just when it seems appropriate. So anyways, taking a look at the box here, it's your standard white mailer that you have seen with any of the Signature Collection reviews that you have seen from me, or anyone else for that matter. It just now says Saint Walker. We can open it up and be greeted to a slightly redesigned packaging with Saint Walker. Now, Saint Walker is, of course, the Blue Lantern leader, and therefore he's helping build the Lantern leader team, if you want to call it that. Now, the packaging, like I said, is slightly redesigned. They did do an update to this to distinguish it between the first year figures. So if we take a look here, I'll bring in the box for a figure I will review most likely in July. I know it seems a long way off, but it makes sense based on the character. But you see here, the old boxes had just kind of flat black here, a blue stripe here, a little light type deal, and that's basically it. It also had the DC Universe logo here, which had the old DC logo. This has been replaced with a whole Signature Collection logo. The name is now on a blue stripe, along with the Doll Collector. You no longer have the warning label. You have more of a nice little bit more detailed design with some nice patterns around here and some gradient type effects on the side. Same thing, you just replaced what was there. Now, of course, you don't have minifigure mat standalone because there's no minifigure. So it's basically kind of redesigned that side. Now, on the side with the artwork, you notice originally we had the artwork and the old DC logo. Now we have the artwork with a nice gradient background, and the page curl with the page curl DC logo. Mattel is starting to incorporate the page curl into their box designs, much like DC Direct / DC Collectibles is doing to theirs. Look on the back, it has become basically the same thing with the new patterns transferred over. But overall, you can tell that they are the same line. It's just this is a second version of the packaging. The bottom just has the standard stuff. Now let's take a look at his artwork, which is beautiful, by the way, and his bio. Saint Walker, real name Brody Walker. When their son began to die, the people of Estonia turned to their priest Brody Walker. His steadfast hope drew the attention of a Blue Lantern power ring, which saved the planet by turning the dying sun into a bright blue star. Brody was then selected by the ring as the first member of the Blue Lantern Corps. Known as Saint Walker, the first Blue Lantern uses the power of hope to create constructs that soothe his targets. He can also charge Green Lantern rings and drain Sinestro Corps rings. So very nice bio. Now there's no doubt that this figure is being released about the time where Saint Walker has not only appeared twice in Green Lantern Animated Series, but may have a larger role in the future. Definitely looking forward to that. So it's really nice that we do get Saint Walker, and it's been a while. This is definitely one of the more fan-demanded characters. So without further ado, let's take a look at Saint Walker. Alrighty, so here is Saint Walker out of his packaging. Now, this is a figure that is based on an existing mold, but he does have a new head sculpt. We'll give him credit for that. He's based off the mold that was used first with the Creeper. It's the skinnier, muscular body mold that Mattel introduced towards the end of the line of DC Universe Classics. Wave 16 onward used it. Specifically Creeper, Captain Boomerang, Toyman. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. But you know, it's a nice body mold, and it definitely works. It is more articulated, too. It has double joint elbows and knees, which is something that people have been wanting since the beginning of the line. So I really like how they use this body mold for St. Walker instead of the Flash Green Lantern body mold, because that wouldn't have made much sense. Or the Deadman body mold, because that one's just frail. So anyways, take a look at St. Walker here. He has a new head sculpt, and this head sculpt is really nice. It looks really a lot like St. Walker. It's got all the molded lines, details on his face. His expression is kind of a interesting one, but you can see St. Walker. You can definitely tell it's him. I know that they did a good job with head sculpts because since my parents watched Green Lantern the Animated Series with me, if I show them a figure like St. Walker here, and they're like, "Oh, it's St. Walker from the Blue Lantern," yeah, then we know it's a good head sculpt because it's recognizable. That's really what's most important. Now, what's interesting is that on his chest, it's not just a simple decal of the Blue Lantern logo. It's actually molded on there. Well, the decals, it's still a decal, but there's a raised portion of his chest for that that new. So it's a new torso piece, like this section right here. Probably not this section, that's probably the same, but this whole piece there is new. Also, they molded in the collar line, so that is really nice. Now, the rest is pretty much paint. You do get a new hand here, which is kind of a pointing / holding / battle pose, I guess. And you do get his other new hand here with his ring. Now, what's really surprised me is that he does have new forearms as well, because that is a new glove gauntlet type deal. It's got the line around it. It is molded on there. It's not just painted on there. So we've really come far away from Atrocitus, who had his painted on boots. But really, really nice. Now, looking at the paint details, everything seems to line up. Oh, except for right here. My leg's a bit twisted due to the packaging, which is very frustrating. And even if I were to twist it back, that paint app is still off a bit. It's minor, but you see how it just didn't quite line up. QC problems like this are expected to happen when the figures are hand-painted. Human error is involved. I do wish Mattel would sort these out better, but in the packaging, I didn't notice it until I opened it. And if they opened all our toys, I think people would get upset about that. Now, the only other quality control issue I'm going to go over, and just get over it now, you'll notice there is a slight problem with double joint knees. Once you bend this knee and then pull it down, you'll notice there's a stress mark right there. They didn't make enough clearance on either leg. Now, I didn't notice this with Toyman, Creeper, or Captain Boomerang, but that's a problem, especially for a character like this who needs the knee articulation. So anyways, speaking of the rest of articulation, we have a ball joint head, which allows him to look from all various degrees and angles, which is really nice. You got an outward shoulder joint, you got a 360 shoulder, you got the bicep swivel, you got a double joint elbow that works really well. I thought it definitely works better than the one from the Wave 16 Robin. You got a inward wristband, a slight outward wristband, blocked by the glove, but I don't mind, and a wrist swivel. Same with the other hand. Now, you may notice this actually was caused by the packaging being molded slightly off, which is why his arm kind of bends outward compared to his other. Waist swivel works. He has an ab crunch joint. It doesn't move as much as the traditional one. It goes back more than forward. You got outward leg movement. You got forward, slight back leg movement. You get the biceps, or the thigh swivel. The double joint knee, which again brings up that problem. And you got a slight ankle tilt. But overall, really, really nice articulation. Really pleased with how this guy looks. Definitely worth it. Now, you can include as one accessory, which is just another pack-in of the Blue Lantern power battery that was first included with Blue Lantern the Flash and Blue Lantern Kyle Rayner, and finally St. Walker gets it. Now, he is able to hold it, but don't hope for a secure fit. It's kind of weird in his hand, but he is able to hold it, so he does get more points than Atrocitus. Now, posability, his articulation is really nice. Now, how many poses can this guy assume? You can, of course, have the calm, meditating Saint Walker, very hopeful, very peaceful person, with the help of a Bandai Tamashii stage. Because that stand did not come with this figure, by the way. A Mattel Flight stage might work, too. But, you can see, with the double joint knees, he is able to assume that position, but I wouldn't pose him like that for very long due to the stress mark, unless you just want to cut away the plastic, not to cause any problems. You probably could. Now, this is unfortunate that he does have a closed fist on his ring-holding hand, because you can't really get a good meditating pose, and that's about as far as his neck will look down. Well then, you may ask, what other pose could I put this guy in? This is the pose I will probably leave Saint Walker in if I have the display space for it, because when Saint Walker isn't being peaceful, he's being very hopeful as he will defend his planet, his people, or anyone in trouble. Saint Walker is a good guy, and he will fight for good and fight against evil, and damn it, he's ready to do that. I mean, that hand is molded perfectly for this. This had to be what they had in mind. So yes, Saint Walker can be the peaceful guy, but when it's time to destroy whatever is trying to kill people, he will take it out. That is the awesomeness of Saint Walker. Now, in terms of scaling, you can pretty much pose Saint Walker with any of your DC Universe Classics figures. And if you do have the DC Direct Brother Worth, which is a supremely awesome figure as well, with a little bit limited in articulation, he fits perfectly right there. Definitely looks nice together. The metallic-y paint that Mattel used really works with DC Direct's type of paint. And I don't think Mattel may not ever get to the point where they could do a figure like Worth who needs his own body mold. The only figure I think in the entire line that's ever had not a single piece reused was Etrigan the Demon, and that was Wave 1. And that was probably the big price buster of the line. But here is, so if you can find the Worth figure, and you have the Mattel Saint Walker, definitely looks good, and he fits in really well. I've noticed a lot of the DC Direct Lantern, Blackest Night, Green Lantern line DC Direct figures do fit with the Mattel DC Universe Classics, Signature Collection, Green Lantern Classics, yada yada. So I really like having these two together because they really represent the Blue Lantern Corps for me. It's also the only Blue Lantern Corps members we've gotten, unless you count in Flash here from Wave 17, and Kyle Rayner from the War of the Green Lanterns 2-pack. It's a nice-looking Blue Lantern Corps, though you may notice one issue. Flash is a lighter blue than everyone else. Yep. That's a problem. Well, anyways, what else can you pose Saint Walker with but the other Lantern leaders? So, looks like we're just missing Larafleeze and Indigo 1. Yeah, it really looks nice with the other leaders. If you're definitely only collecting Lantern leaders and not any of the other members of the Corps, Saint Walker's definitely worth it. If you have Atrocitus, you've already gone through the whole Matty Collector thing. If not, you gotta settle with just having green, yellow, and pink. Or violet, or Star Sapphire. My brain escaped me, I apologize. Now, the other thing, if you want, here's Necron. Yeah, he's only in here to show off that cool scythe that my friend made me, since Mattel didn't want to include one. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to get technical, Necron is the Lantern leader, but Black Lanterns are technically not a real Corps. But there you go. We've only got 2 more to go. Larafleeze, or Larafleeze, is coming out in April, I believe, as part of the Signature Collection. He was originally going to be a retail figure, but then, whoops, Matty Collector exclusive. And we haven't got an announcement on Indigo 1, but I would not be surprised if she's one of the mystery figures that we haven't seen this year yet. Maybe they'll show her at Toy Fair, if they do at all. Definitely a figure easy to make. Just use the Star Sapphire mold, or any female DC mold, and then just add new things to it. But yes, very close to completing this little team, if you want to call it a team. And looking forward to it. So, overall, can I recommend DC Universe Signature Collection Saint Walker? Hells yeah. This is a great start to this year, which has a good character selection and a nice designs for each character, so what we've seen so far, aside from Red Hood. But I am really excited to see what this year is going to bring. If its first figure out of the line is a retooled figure, not anything really new, but the way it's used is really effective. It shows how a good head sculpt and a couple remolded parts really make a good figure. I'm really excited to see what Matty Collector will be bringing us this year in 2013. I am super excited. I really do like this figure, and if you are trying to collect the Lantern Leaders, the Blue Lantern Corps, I'm sure there'll be places you will be able to find this figure. You might want to try Amazon or eBay or other fan forums, as they might have people selling them. But if you like what you see here, you will like this figure when you get it. Definitely recommend it. That is all for St. Walker. Next month, stay tuned, as we'll be getting in the next DC Universe Signature Collection figure, which is a personal favorite character of mine, the Phantom Stranger. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to check out Hirotaku.com for comic, toy, video game, anime, tokusatsu, anything you can really think of, news, reviews, and such. We have more on the way. We are always improving our site to bring you the latest awesome content. And stay tuned for more videos, as there was another DC Universe figure released through Matty Collector this month, and we'll be taking a look at him next.